and happy Monday. I am Liz Whitaker, and welcome to Divination Station, brought to you by True Paranormal, the podcast. I am your host for this broadcast, and today we'll be discussing strength. I will be following up with some sample readings when we're done. I will go ahead and take a couple moments to share this out and wait for people to pop on. And of course, this is always the first little bit of any broadcast. So just bear with me here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share it out to my page. And all right, looks like we have a few people on here, and it looks like everything is going to take a few seconds to update here. So I'll wait as Facebook slowly lets me know who's here. All right, there we go. Tracy, hello. Valley, hello. Kiera, Leslie. When you join the live broadcast, please take a moment to drop your name, where you are watching from, and your pronouns in the comments there. I will try to keep up as best as I can throughout the broadcast. If you're watching the replay, comment #replay. And we will, it makes it a little bit easier for me to get to your comments, and also shows us that there is interest in the replay. I would also love it if you tell me how your week has been on your tarot journey. What deck are you working with? What cards have you pulled? Just a little tidbit about your tarot journey for the week. Don't forget to, while react this video, share to your page, tag your friends, anybody that might be interested in it. It helps us grow our reach organically, and also lets people know that we're on so they can find me. I hope you do enjoy the show, and I look forward to getting to know you better. All right, we have a bunch that have popped on here. Cassidy, hello. Melissa, hello. Christina, Destiny, Leslie. All right. Getting down to Florida. All right. We're broadening our reach here. And this, of course, as you do share the broadcast, please type #shared. It makes it easier for me to keep track. Thank you, Gavin. And Tracy said she shared on behalf of Gavin. So I will make sure that the card goes out to him today. All right, Kiera shared. Thank you. All right, Olive Stone. So as the broadcasts go, my show is called Divination Station TV. I do a tarot lesson. So there's a specific topic that we will watch, and I'm sorry, that you will watch me teach. Then we're going to kind of go into some little tarot tidbits, and then at the end, I will be keeping track. I do have a feeling that this might go a little bit long. Last time we were just about done. So what I will do is I will keep track of everybody that has shared. I will get to as many one-card pulls as I can today in the broadcast, and we'll see where we're at that point. And so far I am keeping track of the shared. So thank you very much for doing the #shared, because that will go ahead and really, as I'm scrolling through, makes it a little bit easier for me. And as you are popping in, again, pop your name, where you're watching from, your pronouns, and what I would love to know is where you're at with your tarot journey for the week. If you pulled any cards, be it tarot, oracle cards. Melissa just said the Mother Mary oracle cards have been amazing for her. I know a few people that work with that deck and they love that deck. So definitely. So just a little tidbit of where you're at with that. All right. And it looks like we're about 8:05, so I will go ahead and start with today's lesson. So last time we did talk about the chariot and how the chariot is always moving forward. How the chariot is kind of taking us to our next journey. And when we're on that journey, things aren't always easy, right? Think about going on a road trip. How often has a road trip gone off without one single hitch, without, bad weather, traffic being horrendous? When has that ever happened? I know for me, I used to travel a lot up and down East Coast for shows, and let me tell you, I got some stories. So I can honestly say I've never had a road trip that's gone completely smooth. And that's fine. That's part of the fun, right? It's part of the fun of life, really. We make our choices, we do our best, and we adjust when things come up. All right. So Laura, enjoy. Sarah, Shauna, Laura, hi. Got some Canadians on here. Catherine, hello. Sheila in Tennessee. Awesome. So with that, we have strength. So how do we handle those little hiccups on our journey of life, our road trip? How do we handle those? We always hope we handle it with strength. Strength is the 8th card of the tarot, of the major arcana. It also starts what is called the second septenary. So when you get your tarot cards and you arrange them, you get all the majors and you put them in numerical order. What you can do is you put up the Fool on top, and then you do 3 rows, 3 even rows. So there's the Fool and then 21 cards. Each of those is 7 cards, the septenary, sept being the root of 7. So what each of those are, it's a path on the journey of life. It hits the spots, right? So the first septenary is development of self. It's how we grow as people, as beings, as it's our most primal essences, how we work out drama. Think of a child. When the child goes from very, small, very new person to toddler, to school age kids, to middle school. We're working out our development. What is our personality? Who are we? It is our personal power. We learn what our power is. We learn how to manifest. We learn what our aspirations are, and we choose our path. So there's really big archetypes on that first septenary. And let me pop in here. Sarah, living in Wisconsin, and she pulled cards last week. Tarot and Oracle. Whispers of Love Oracle, I just got that one. And Star Child Tarot, I love that deck too. Amazing choices. Melissa Antonucci, hello. Sarah shared. And Caitlin, hello. All right, Quinn, hello. Hello from New York. All right, and Melissa, there's a couple Melissas, so I'll go ahead and throw your last name in there. Melissa Antonucci says, hoping to get a card, been meditating but feel crazy. Are you on the right path? So how my broadcast works is the first bit is going to be a tarot lesson. So we talk about, I'm going to talk about a specific card in the major arcana. My show concentrates on the Fool's Journey. So looking at the archetype of one specific major arcana card a show, And then I throw in things like tarot tips and, books, things like that. And then towards the end, depending on what time is left, I will pull cards. And to get a reading, all you have to do is share and comment hashtag shared. It's going to pop up a little icon that says share, and that's how I keep track. So I am, really trying to keep track as we're going here. And the comments will show up if you are watching live through the Three of Cups Divine Arts page. So Gina also says, love to have a reading. Again, go ahead, hashtag share, and stay tuned. So strength, right, begins that second septenary, the next phase of our journey. This is forging the self. So think of, at this point, you're in teenage years. Things feel a little bit more like serious, right? Remember back when you're a teenager, or if you are, in your teens right now, everything can feel really difficult. Everything's dramatic. Everything is end of the world, beginning of the world, because we're figuring out who we are in the context of the world as a whole. We're figuring out who we are in school. We're figuring out who we are with our family, who we are in society. Where do we fit? What are our beliefs? Where are we? So it's forging the self in the context of the collective. When you start to realize that you're not the only person, you're not the only being, you kind of grow out of that, a child, a kid is all ego. It's all about them. They're the most important thing, most important person in the world at all times for everyone. And that's being a kid, and that's fine. When you kind of enter those teenage years, early 20s especially, you get into college and you realize that the world is a whole lot bigger, or you start a trade school and you realize the whole world's a whole lot bigger, or you graduate high school or don't graduate high school and enter the workforce, or you have invisible or visible disabilities and you realize how much bigger the world is. So that's what that second septenary is, that second leg of the journey. We find out who we are in regards to everybody else. It's how we handle conflict with others. How do we cooperate with others? It's all about self-discovery. And to get a little woo-woo, wisdom and the laws of nature and the laws of man. So strength starts that, right? We've made our decision, we've got to that, and now we're on a road trip and things happen. Helena, hello. Strength is fortitude. It's internal strength. It's taking a deep breath, seeing the situation at hand, and how can I handle it? How am I going to handle this conflict? How am I going to work with these difficult people? Strength it's not about forcing your will on others. It's about cooperation. It's about learning how to work with others. And if you look at the card, again, we have that yellow background. I believe we talked about that in the chariot. I'm trying to get the glare not ridiculous. There we go. So the yellow background really brings an idea of happiness. Yellow is bright, it's happy. And she is kind of bending down to the lion, and he is looking up at her. It's a very symbiotic relationship. It's very calm. She has she reminds me of, like a medieval maiden. She's in touch with nature. She's in touch with the animal kingdom. And she has that infinity sign above her head, like the magician. It's also the lemniscat, meaning that feedback loop, that relationship it's a never-ending relationship as long as both parties feed into that strength. It's a balance of power. It's an exchange of power that equals out. And Heather, hello. So since we have a couple new people, welcome. This is Three of Cups Divine Arts. I'm Liz Whitaker with Divination Station TV. As you pop on, if you do share, hashtag shared, and depending on the time at the end of the broadcast, I will be pulling cards. And just do hashtag shared, say a little bit about yourself, where you're watching from, your pronouns, and I would personally love to hear a little tidbit on your tarot journey. Something, a card that you've pulled through the week, a deck that you've worked with, a deck that you've seen that you want, anything like that. So, and that, you can kind of see, that power exchange in the lion and the woman. There's not a lot else. There's not a lot in the background going on. And Quinn says Divination Station TV. Yeah, that's the name of my show. My page is Divination Station Tarot. So I thought I would just drag that over and call it here. So strength has, like everything else, has some correspondence. Strength corresponds to the zodiac sign of Leo. So we have that nice bright summer feel, right? And we have the lion. And Leos are very, very charming, very confident. And, they both figures here kind of have that feeling. And so Leo, it's a fire sign. It also represents the sun. So everything about this card is that fire, that drive, but it's not forceful. Like if you remember, if you caught the broadcast on the Emperor was also a fire card, but it represents Aries. Aries as a sign is a little bit more forceful. They will put the order to chaos. They will do it how they want to. Strength, representing Leo, comes in and works with people. It has that back and forth. It has that exchange idea. So it's not as forceful as the Emperor. And Jamie, hello. Learning, good. Yes, I am always learning. I love learning new things about the tarot. And I don't think that there's really ever a point where you stop learning with the tarot. Okay. So it's strength of, so some keywords for strength are going to be confidence of character, internal fortitude, confidence, and strength. You might see in some decks, so strength is 8, Roman numeral 8. In some decks, you might be looking at your deck and be real confused because justice is the 8th card. So here we have the Tarot de Marseille, and this one is strength here. So we have that, same idea. We have a woman, we have the lion. It's a little bit, these drawings are a little bit more like a woodcut, so they're a little bit cruder. They don't have this, it doesn't have the same like nuances that the Rider-Waite-Smith deck has, but it still has that idea of power exchange, not forced. But you can see it's number 11, and 8 is justice. Why? So Tarot de Marseille was the original deck. And when Arthur Edward Waite did his deck, he felt that the symbolism that he was drawing from, which was the Golden Dawn tradition, that these fit more. They fit more with his flow and his understanding of esoterica. So he decided to flip them. And that's really what it is. Most decks at this point will follow that system. And saying that said, I'm going to show you 3 that don't. So we do go through, And I'm just keeping track here of who did share. Very interested in learning and growing. So Christina says a very has an interesting point here, and I did talk about this as I believe one of my first tarot tips, that you have to be gifted your first deck, and that's a myth at this point. You don't have to be. If you want a tarot deck, please go buy a tarot deck. You do not have to be gifted a deck. If that's what you want, then fine. If you feel that that's how your path needs to start, then do that. It really did come from when tarot was not as accessible, and people were really kind of like protective of occult knowledge. Occult is hidden. If something, it's hidden knowledge, and practitioners didn't really want it getting out. So it was propaganda, just getting that idea out there. That's my opinion. Again, you follow your path wherever it takes you and however it takes you. I'm certainly not one to tell you, but in my opinion, you want a tarot deck, buy one. Quinn says goes between shamanic medicine cards, sacred path, and native spirit decks. Awesome. Those are, I love the themes there. I love that imagery and that going on. We got Melissa, Jocelyn. Hi, it's Mel. All right. So strength, maybe justice, strength. Also in the Thoth deck, strength is lust. So it kind of takes a bit different character of that Leo archetype, and by calling it lust. Here we have a woman who looks a little bit more like she's riding on the back of the lion. She has it, kind of like a rein riding crop kind of idea. There's, again, a lot of those yellows, but the lion looks like he has like a few different heads. So a few different representations of society. And then there's the idea, we have like snakes coming around in that orange color, and lust. So this one is going to have that really like lust for life feeling. It's going to have it's more of a sexual drive. It really feels like it's more of a hedonistic kind of comes to mind when I look at number 11, and it's flipped in Thoth too. So 8 in the Thoth deck is justice, and we will address that in a few cards. So that's the Thoth tarot, and again down here we have the symbols for Leo and the Hebrew letter that it does represent. And Quinn said first deck came up missing. Oh, Wolf Song. And then the deck that went missing came back to me. I have definitely found that quite often with not only tarot, but crystals. I got, when I took a class, a beautiful sunstone sodalite. Loved the stone. Promptly lost it. Bought another one. Promptly lost it. They'll pop up when I need them. But for whatever reason, even though I was very drawn to that stone, they seem to not want to hang out with me right now. And when it's meant to, they'll pop back up. And in the other deck that we do look at, the Tarot of the Cat People, again, strength is 11. So when we get to justice, we're going to see justice is number 8. So here, as we would expect, she's also riding. It looks like an ocelot to me, has like an ocelot face, like jaguar tail. I don't know, but again, she looks like she has that relationship with her cat, and she does not look like one to be messed with. She's got her spear. She's riding. She looks very confident in her stance on her cat there. Andrew Smith, hello. All right, so we're about halfway through. So I'm going to go ahead and go over the sponsor break. And also, if you have not shared yet, if you do share, hashtag shared. And I will try to get one card pulls for everybody at the end. And I believe I've got everyone so far. All right. Divination Station TV is sponsored by True Paranormal, the podcast. Leo Rizzuti takes you on a journey into the supernatural with the mysterious, the strange, and things that simply cannot be explained. Join in by following True Paranormal, the podcast, on Facebook, where you'll be treated to spooky stories, tips on doing your own investigations, and interviews with paranormal investigators. Every week as you catch up with Leo on True Paranormal, the podcast. And I will say I did listen to a few episodes over the weekend, and I think it was the most recent one was amazing. It was really good. So I did listen to the podcast, and I do personally endorse it. All right. All right, Joy, yep, I got you. So now we're going to go through a couple other versions of the strength card. And as you're going through, if you do have any questions or any comments, anything that you want to say about any of the cards, go ahead and pop it in there, and I'll try to answer questions as we're going, anything like that. So I was recently given this deck. I believe it's Lover's Tarot. I don't have the book for it. But this one is Strength. And it's Siegfried and Brunhilde. So if you are familiar with Wagner and his Ring trilogy, you're familiar with the characters. Or if you're familiar with Bugs Bunny, old Looney Tunes, where Bugs dressed up as Brunhilde. And I'm not going to sing it for you. I really want to, but I won't. So they, all I learned from opera, all I know about opera, I learned from Looney Tunes. That's me. So we have Brunhilde and Siegfried. So that is a love story that unfortunately does not end very well, but it is all about strength. So here we have the couple looking on. There's a horse in the background. There's flames in the background, but they're together. So again, it's that idea of that equal exchange of energy between those two. And I would suggest looking up the story. Obviously my, 2-sentence synopsis doesn't do it justice, but yeah, if you are interested in that story, go ahead and look at that, or listen to The Ring if you have like 3 days. So that is from the Lover's Tarot. And I also, this one is the 13. It's just X. It's just the Roman numeral 13, XIII. And this one, a little bit darker. And it's one of those small cards, so it's difficult to kind of get all of there. There we go. So this figure, we don't really have the idea of the lion. She's kind of standing there, and the figures that are flanking her do look a little bit lionesque. But she does have, the horns, the flames. She does have a raven on her shoulder, and her stance, to me, still indicates that strength, still has that confidence. So a little bit darker version of that card, a little bit darker take on that. And this one is the Osho Zen Tarot. Again, this deck is completely different. It kind of follows its own path. What is the first deck of tarot started? So if you could clarify the question, the first deck that I started with in this broadcast, or the first one in general? The first one I started with in the broadcast is the traditional Rider-Waite Smith deck. And there are a few different versions of this deck. There's the Centennial, which have a little bit more muted color scheme. There is the Albano deck, which is a little bit more saturated. The Radiant Rider-Waite deck, which has a little bit more it's a little bit more like glowing. So one of the first decks that was readily available was the Tarot de Marseille. So this deck is one of the original decks. The Tarot Visconti, I believe, was actually one of the first decks, but those were hand painted, and the figures are based on members of Italian royal family. So that Tarot de Marseille deck is this one. Is one of the original decks. So the Osho Zen Tarot, and this one's called Courage. So here we have this pretty little daisy pushing up through what looks like a stone wall. So we can kind of take that as that internal courage and strength to push through obstacles, to push through when things seem impossible. So remember the analogy I used in the beginning, we're in the chariot, right? We're on that road trip, and we have, something happens. We get a flat tire on the way home from New York City in the middle of nowhere. It happened to me. How do we handle that? That's strength. Do we have a meltdown on the side of the road? And it's okay if you do. I was not the one that handled that situation, let me tell you. But eventually, we kind of, pulling it together and moving forward. That's what this, that little germinating seed of a daisy had to do. You'd be like, well, I'm, here, there's this stone wall on top of me. Do I even want to bother to grow? And it's taking, so Tracy asks, what is the name of this? This is the Osho Zen Tarot. So I'll write that in the notes here. Notes, comments, what am I talking about? There we go. Is it working? There we go. And I really like that because it's a very simple image, and it really does indicate that courage coming through. And the last one about today. All right, somehow, nope. Somehow it did not. Anyway, so the last one is the Starman Tarot. Different than Star Child. This is a Starman Tarot. It's by the artist that worked with David Bowie on many of his album covers. So it's very influenced by that imagery, very influenced by David Bowie. Yep, I got you, Christina. All right, so this is strength. So this deck has a lot going on, but you still have at the very core of the card, we have that imagery. I love her dress. That just screams confidence to me. She's got, her heels. She's got this gorgeous dress. She's got these two lions right next to her that definitely look like they are there for her. They have a little bit more of that fierce look, but they are, she doesn't have them tethered. She has them tethered, but it's loosely. She's not pulling it. they're there by her side because they want to be there. And in this deck, there's so many little like background things to pay attention to as well. And so that one is the Starman Tarot. Really drying here. Apologize for that. All right, so that's about all I have for our little mini lesson on strength. So again, if you do have any questions in there, pop them in, let me know. So I will go ahead and we'll do the tarot tip of the day. So as you pull cards for yourself, or even for others, or even on an app, and it's kind of funny that it was my tarot tip of the day, and someone just before I got on commented that on one of those gifts, that spins and you hit it and it gives a card. The same one came up twice in a row. So yeah, willingly there with her. They're just hanging out. They're there for her. Whatever she needs, they're going to do. So tarot tip of the day is repeating cards. And what do you do with them? So say I'm doing readings for myself and I keep getting strength. Strength keeps coming up for me. What does it mean? What I want to do with that is after the first, maybe if 2 or 3 times, if it comes up like 4 or more times, you really got to work with the card. You want to look at the card. You really want to meditate on it, get a really good understanding of what it is. Because maybe you're missing something. Maybe it's an energy that you think that you are conveying or that you're working with, but you're really not, or not in the same way. If it's a minor arcana card, if 10 of Wands keeps coming up for you, you're pushing yourself too hard, you're doing too much and you need to stop. If this keeps coming up, you're going to have to contend with that energy. So when repeating cards come up, this is why a tarot journal or log, anything to keep track is very helpful, because you can see patterns and trends. You can see when the cards come up, how often you're getting them. And you can really lock in on the meaning at that point. So if you're getting a card often, some places you're going to see them called stalker cards. I'm trying to get away from using that language because it does have not so good connotations. And if I can use language that is not, triggering for people, I would much rather say repeating than stalking. I don't care. It doesn't mean it's not difficult for me to switch a word out if it means saving someone from going through some bad thoughts at that word. So that's why you will rarely hear me say stalking. And if I do, I will probably correct myself right away, because it is something that I have tried to deprogram myself from saying. So repeating cards, you really want to understand the card, describe it, look at it. How does it make you feel? Go to some resources. Maybe there's a keyword somewhere, that one resource has that you're kind of missing out, that you're kind of missing. Look at different artistic representations of that. Maybe one card, will really pop for you with that. Like if you're really struggling with this, but all of a sudden you look at the corresponding in here and you're like, oh, I get it. Okay. So it's really all about locking into what the message is for you. What message am I missing? And you can do, if you're really stuck, you can do a tarot spread for it. You can, and I would just Google. That's what I do. If I'm like, I need a spread real quick and it's something specific like that, and just throw it in Google. There's a ton of examples in there. So you can just go ahead and say, repeating card spread, and it'll say, what do I need to know? And it'll show you. Definitely suggest that. You can also make your own. the card, what am I missing? What do I need to know? How can I learn this lesson? What is this message? And so yeah, repeating cards, definitely something to pay attention to, and keep in your journal. So that's tarot tip of the day. Now we'll go ahead and review the pull from last week. So last week's pull, the cards of the week were Six of Swords. So moving away from something that was difficult. And as I'm going through these, what I really want you to do is really think about the past week. How have these energies shown up for you? So we have that idea of moving away from something. Page of Swords, maybe that new place, that new thing. We've had to make some adjustments and learn how to communicate, learn that different way to speak to others, to process, to be heard. And then Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is that idea of tenacity, seeing it through. So it's kind of got, a completely different energy than this guy. So how have those two energies shown up for you in this past week? And this is something you can pop in the notes down there. It's something that you can kind of keep track of. But that was the reading for the collective for last week. So I'm shuffling right now, and we'll go ahead and pull 3 cards, and these will be the weekly forecast for the collective. And then we'll go ahead and get into the reads. I'm definitely not going to have enough time to get to everybody, and I do apologize. What I will say, if you want to get in contact with me, please do so through my page, Divination Station Tarot, and I will go ahead and pop a link in there. Please contact me. I do have your names written down here, so I will know that you did share. And just, kind of give me a poke that you watched the live on Monday and I didn't get to you. So, of course we want to, give you your reading, but, time is absolutely a thing. And my show is not an all reading show. Maybe I'll do one someday. We'll see. And Joy asks, are oracle cards the same as tarot? No. So oracle cards are, and of course I moved them all. Oracle cards are, we'll say, themed. They have a very specific message that they're trying to get across. And again, I have a ton right over there. So oracle cards are going to be like, I have astrology oracle cards. I have earth magic oracle cards. I have goddess oracle cards. Each of those oracle cards is going to have a goddess on them. Earth magic is going to have things like lightning, mountain, cave, and those are very specific meanings. They tend to be very positive, very uplifting. And I like to use them in conjunction with tarot. Tarot cards, tarot is a very, very set specific system. There's 78 cards. Some decks have a few more, but 78 is the number. There is the major arcana. Those are the big cards. And that's when you join me live on Mondays, that's what we're going over, at least for the first, 22 shows. We're on 8 now, so we have a few more to go. Those are the big energies. Strength, death, the tower, the magician, and then there's 4 suits that will represent the elements. So fire, wands, air, swords, earth, pentacles, cups, emotions. So you're always going to have those 4 elements represented. They're going to look different in different decks, but that's the difference between tarot and oracle. Oracle cards can have as many cards as the artist wants, and they put the images on there. They usually include a guidebook to have a little bit more information with that card. And tarot has that more like traditional imagery. So that is the difference. So I'm going to go ahead and one more shuffle here and a cut. And I'm going to take the top 3. And this is going to be the tarot forecast for the week of January 27th, 2020. Page of Cups. Page of Cups is that new way to, it's emotion, it's intuition. He's also very artistic. He has a flair for the dramatic. 9 of Wands. 9 of Wands is kind of that feeling of after a fight, after, something difficult, it's that feeling of being on the other side and wondering if can I calm down now? Is it time for me to heal from this difficult situation? He's through the battle, but he's taken some hits. He's got his bandage on. He looks like he's kind of leaning on the wands. The last one is 5 of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles is a card of feeling left out. It's a feeling of being left out in the cold. It can feel like everybody else has something that I don't. And that's kind of what came through here. Some positive sides to the card are, we have 2 figures here. So you're together, you're not alone in the struggle, and it will end. Maybe they're just walking around the corner and they're going to go into the church and it's going to be nice and warm. So it's kind of like feeling left out on the outside, but how do we get through that? So I would be interested to hear how these energies are going to show up in the next week. I know I have been journaling these and reflecting about them on Sundays. So I would be interested if you do the same. So again, Page of Cups, it's like that new, like jovial, like artistic energy, but then it like almost too much, like burnout, and then ending up here. So again, I would be very interested to hear how that ends up for everybody, myself included, because those are some energies, let me tell you. And I'm writing them down because I seem to not do that, and then I run out and I will watch them. I go and watch the replay to see what I pulled. All right, so we have just a bit over 10 minutes. So again, I'm going to go through in order of shared in the notes, and then at about 8:58, I'm going to wrap up, and I'm going to say the names that I have not gotten to, and I do go ahead and reach out to me. I would prefer Divination Station Tarot. Again, my page, I'm actually going to toss it in the notes down here. Comments, why do I keep calling them notes? I'm going to toss them down there so you can easily find me. You can also find me through the page, but the 3 of Cups page, but this will just be easier. So we do have the first person that did share was Tracy for Gavin. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a card for Gavin. King of Cups. So King of Cups, getting connected with emotion and expressing them, and not trying to distance himself from those emotions. So for me, that's kind of the feeling I'm getting with that. And I just tossed my page down there, so you should have it. So yeah, with him, just make sure he's really getting in touch with his emotions, really recognizing what they are, and feeling comfortable and confident enough to express them when needed. All right. So I have a couple people popping on here. Angel, first time watcher. We are wrapping up this broadcast, but thank you and welcome. Right now I am doing one card pulls, and I am going in order of shared. So if you do share to your page and has hashtag shared, I'll get you on the list. Unfortunately, you will have to reach out to me individually, and I'll do that via Facebook Messenger. All right. So again, we have a couple people popping on here. So again, share it. Let me know that you did. I will get you on the list. But again, it will have to be after the broadcast. So I will go, just reach out to me. My page is down there. We have Vicinta. Okay. So next on the list for shares, we have Kiera. So Kiera, if you are here, this is for you. 10 of Wands, so this is 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands is overwhelm, you know, really kind of picking up a lot, kind of trying to do a lot at once, and you will burn out. It is a very difficult position to be in, because you feel like you have to do everything on your own. You have to do everything. You keep picking up more sticks, and that's not sustainable. So definitely, you know, take a look and try to see what you can put down. Next, we have Joy. I know Joy has shared. Thank you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pull Four of Swords. Four of Swords for Joy. With that, I am going to say, you need to do some rest. You need to rest. Meditation is really good when that card comes up. Something about what you're doing is really trying to push through, and you're not resetting enough. You're not giving yourself enough time to let your brain kind of chill out. All right, so next on the list, we have Leslie. Okay, so for Leslie, Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is the idea of, you know, almost like holding on to something because you feel like you have to. So I would look at your life. I would look at, you know, what's going on and what are you holding on to, maybe too tightly. Either it's not serving you anymore and you just haven't quite realized it, or you feel like you have to hold on because it's like all that you're going to get, but you can't actually get more unless you release. So it's a, you know, give to get kind of idea. Valley, if you are still on, this is your card. Page of Wands. So Page of Wands for Valley. Page of Wands is all about looking at that new adventure, really ready to take off. It's all about courage and vitality, and really ready to face that with almost reckless abandon. You know, you're really ready to go and you don't want anyone stopping you. All right, and Kayla, I did get you on the list. I only have a few more minutes, but you can absolutely reach out to me because you were on the broadcast and you did share. My page will be in the notes. My name is Elizabeth Whitaker. I do own and run Divination Station Tarot out of Buffalo, New York. I do have a list of everybody that did share, and unfortunately I cannot get to everybody. So reach out to me and I will get that for you. So this one is for Olive, Nine of Wands. So again, repeating card, right? We pulled it for this week and Olive got it again. So Olive, I would really say kind of check in with that battle, you know, with that rest after something really difficult. You have to determine if it is over and when you can rest. So you kind of got to put yourself kind of back together. All right. And Cassidy. So Cassidy, if you are still on, Jamie, hi. Quinn, yay, the 716. Are you in Buffalo too? Awesome. All right, so if you are just joining in and you share, unfortunately, you only got a few minutes of me. But if you do share, again, reach out. I'll pull a card for you, and we'll do a quick one-card pull over Messenger. And Cassidy, 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups is all about its emotional fulfillment. And you kind of want to show it off. You kind of want people to see what you've done. See what you've done with the place is what's coming to mind. And we know why. So it's really about kind of displaying all of the cups that you've gathered. It's so full. They're so full of love, and you really want people to experience that. Just make sure that you are also engaging in that, and you're still interacting with those emotions and not just sitting in front of them. 315 isn't that far. It's only in Syracuse. I was in Rochester yesterday. That's fine. All right. Allison says, are we doing free readings? I do have just a few more minutes to kind of wrap up my broadcast. But if you do share, hashtag shared, it's going to pop up as sharer. I will put my page down there and just reach out to me. And I will do basically what I'm doing here. I'll do a messenger for you. And Jamie says, hey girl. All right, and Vantisa, I know you shared, and I will, like I said, I have time for one more. And that will be for Melissa. And again, if you didn't share, I do have you on the list. So if you message me, I got you here. And again, time is a thing. And we do have Coraline Hemlock coming up after this. So definitely stay on 3 of Cups Divine Arts. Coraline's show's next. I'm going to watch it. It's going to be great. I'm not sure what she's doing, but her topics are always amazing. Melissa, Milk Queen. 9 of Swords. Got a lot of 9s around here today. It's a very 9 energy day. So 9 of Swords it's stress, and it's kind of like it's anxiety, and it's waking up and knowing that it is over. It's not going to continue the whole time. It doesn't have to continue. But there is a lot, kind of going on in the mental realm. It is. And Heather Lynn, yes, you are on the list, but you were one of the last ones. So again, reach out to me. And Marissa, reach out to me, and I will get your reading. Jamie, got you. All right. Melissa Antonucci, I'm not sure that you shared. I don't have you on the list, but if you did share, go ahead and let me know that. And I will, again, once you message me, I will get you that reading. And Maria Pia Garcia, thank you. Yes. Vicenta, yes. So again, I got about a minute left here. I do want to thank everybody for joining me, Liz Whitaker, for Divination Station TV. This will wrap up my broadcast for today. And like I said, definitely stay tuned. Coraline is up next. I will put my page in the notes, so Divination Station Tarot. And if you did go ahead and share, then I do have you on the list. And reach out to me, and we will I'll do your 1-card pull. All right, I do have to sign off. And like I said, definitely stick around for Coraline. All right, and have a great day.